All right.
Just need to quick unmute my audio. Alright. Hello everyone. So this is going to be Ogre Battle 64. So we're going to go ahead and just get nice and comfy over here. Got some pajamas on. Got the graveyard shift for all the night owls. Start with that. Alright. So if everyone's ready, let's go ahead and start a countdown here. Oops. Now all of a sudden I got Secret of Mana music playing, so apologies for that. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with this. In 3, 2, 1, and go. Alright, so I believe I checked on the bid war tracker, and I think we got a name for Magnus and we got a name for the army. So I think we are going to we're going to cut those off pretty early.
All right. I'm guessing the Magnus name is coming up very, very shortly, right?
Yep. What is thy name?
All right. Instead of Magnus Gallants tonight, it is going to be Meowgnus Gallants.
Oh my gosh. Someone knows me too well. Okay, Meowness. Spelling, please. Okay.
Yep, that is correct.
Awesome. Alright, for people who do not know, I am a bit of a cat person. Alright, so then we get our birthday, which doesn't really matter as much. And we're going to be answering a couple of questions here. None of the answers really matter as much except for this third one. This helps determine like what your party configuration is. And so, just for anyone who isn't as familiar with this game, so this is kind of like a strategy RPG. You manage an army, and you're going through this. You're following in the footsteps of this Meowgnus here as he's graduating from military academy. So you are going to be commanding an army as he goes ahead and fights, presumably, a bunch of ogres. At least 64 of them. But I hope everyone's ready to go ahead and just settle in for the ride. Here we have our opening ceremony here. Got the general here looking us over. It's Meowgnus guy. So this is kind of the tutorial phase of the game where it kind of you get a chance to go on a training mission, get to figure out how everything works out, how to manage your army, all your units and stuff. And here's where we're introduced to Hugo. They're gonna be our advisor, and he does the important job of putting together all of our briefings for us. But unfortunately, we skip all of them because it's a speed run and we got to go fast. So all that hard work just kind of goes to waste, and I always feel kind of bad.
Poor Hugo.
Yeah. Also, and definitely, like, if there's any questions that come up during the run or anything that you want me to explain, feel free. We got, in the time that we move our units around, we have a lot of downtime, lots of cutscene text mashing. So definitely in the chat, or if there's yeah, anything on the commentary side. But yeah, just feel free to pipe in anytime. And then, oops. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and set up all of our settings. Destination display. This is all just a bit. Unfortunately, we do have to turn battle animations off, which is kind of like the worst part of it. There's a lot of really cool animations in this game, but in order to go fast, we got to go ahead and turn those off. So maybe if we're ahead of schedule enough, we can go ahead and turn those back on for like the final chapter. So here's our buddy Dio, and so he's kind of a bit of a hothead. So, and here's the first briefing that we're going to be skipping here. Just go ahead and end that right there. Thanks, Hugo, but no thanks. And we're put in command of all the troops over Dio here. Now he's looking at us like, why is Meowgnus got to be the commander? It's like, what's he got that I don't got? So he tells us to take it outside. And we go ahead and agree because that's the faster option. It's just easier to mash through it. But we get cut off by Hugo being the voice of reason and everything. And now we're going into our first battle. First mission, I should say. So all the missions take place on a kind of a map like this, where we have our units right here. We got Meowgnus, and his unit's pretty well set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our Amazons and put them in the back there. Change our battle strategy to attack leader, because that's pretty much... The leaders are really important in each unit. Without a leader, a unit can't move or pursue you or anything, so we want to take out the leaders as quickly as possible. And now we're just waiting for Meowgnus to go ahead and make his way over to... It actually pauses the timer and the time of day when you're moving the camera around the map, so it is faster just to let it kind of sit here. And we find random pickups on the map. Found some old clothing just hanging around, decided to go ahead and pick it up. And we will see our first battle coming up here shortly. So you see kind of the attack names coming up there as we go ahead and single out this little witch that's the leader of this unit. So winning and losing the battles usually just is by how much damage you do or how many units you take out. So once we win, it kind of pushes them off to the side there, and they're running away from us because they don't have a leader and they can't have any orders issued to them. Which is good, because we don't want to fight them a second time. So this first mission's pretty easy. We're already here at the kind of the final battle of the mission. Stream looking alright?
Yep, everything's looking just fine.
Okay.
Did have a couple donations come through. Is this a good time for that?
Sure, that's perfect. We're just going through a cutscene.
Okay, great. We've got a series of donations here from Sventus Coyote. starting with I'm doing a thing, still doing a thing is happening, thing, and if this works, it's going to be me, and it's a series of $1 donations, and they have put in the name Cool Ranch for 6 of the characters for Final Fantasy VII Run coming up. So unless you want an entire party of Cool Ranch, make sure to get your donations in for that incentive coming up.
A for effort there.
Yeah. And then, yeah, just a quick reminder that we are, this is the RPG Valkyrie Scream. It's an inclusive group of female and femme-leaning speedrunners, all love RPGs. Want to join their Discord, please use !Discord for the link in chat. Be open to all people of all genders, so do not worry.
All genders and Cool Ranch, apparently.
And Cool Ranch, yeah, all genders and Doritos flavors.
Alright, so what's going on here is that we got the Prince of the Kingdom, who is, we find out later, is a childhood friend of Magnus, actually got kidnapped by a bunch of rebels, so we got to go ahead and do what we need to do to go rescue him, since we're the closest ones nearby. So we are going to be disbanding all of our extra units here, because we want the best characters from each of the units to kind of make our own elite kind of hit squad. So we got our mage girl right here, we got our good friend Dio right there. Actually, I am completely backwards here. Bear with me, everyone. Then we got our good Griffin right here in the back. So, like before, we're going to go ahead and set up their battle strategy so that they are attack leader. And then set them up with a bunch of items to carry. So, power fruits, which restore our stamina and let us walk farther. And heal fruits, so that heal leaves, so that we don't die. Alright, so Hugo went to once again went to all the trouble of putting this briefing together for us, and we're going to be skipping it right away.
He may have strats, but he's no speedrunner.
Yes. he's like the person that comes up with everything, and then we're just like, okay, yeah, yep, okay. So now Meowgnus is going to go ahead and sit back at the home base here, and we are going to dispatch Esmeralda as our mage unit. She is going to be going to this town here to rescue Yumiel, the prince. And she is going to be getting into a battle right here in the front there. So we took basically the strongest character from each unit and put them all together in one, so that we could go ahead and they're all stacked up on the right side, so that for this mission's boss and the next one, they kind of can target the leader easily. Yeah, because what side the unit is on kind of determines like what order, kind of priority they give to attacking which units. And these next couple missions, before we really break the game with like our one glitch, these next missions can get a little bit hairy, so that's why we loaded up on all those healing items and altar of resurrection in case anyone dies. So fingers crossed that we have some good luck over the next couple missions. Oh no, the Palatinian army is here.
So I guess it should be pointed out that even though you're not putting in commands in these battles, it's not essentially random, right? Like it's actually deterministic who they're fighting.
Yeah, so once you set up all your units and stuff, they automatically attack, like you were saying, and then it just comes up that basically, the people in the front row, they like go first, then it's middle row, then it's last row, I believe. And then based on where they are positioned, like whether they're in the front row or the back row, that determines how many attacks that they get. And where they're kind of aligned, whether they're on the left side, right side, or middle, that determines which one they're attacking. So, like, units on the right side tend to attack units on the right side if that's their priority. And that's also why we set up the attack leader battle strategy, because that way they go out of their way to make sure that they're attacking that leader, which is really the fastest way to go and win all these battles, because we want to be single targeting and focusing down those leaders. So here we went and rescued the prince, and we got the guy, knight in the blonde there. That's Sir Rage, so we're gonna get very familiar with him because he's kind of a jerk, as we're about to see. I mean, look at that sword he's got. Like, what kind of a good guy doesn't have a big giant sword like that?
And red and black are typical good guy colors. I don't know what you're talking about.
So he just kind of slaughters that rebel right in front of the prince, and he's like, "Oh no, whatever could we do?" But I'm sure that's not going to be a problem at all later on. So we're going to be just continuing on our mission where he told us to kill all the rebels. So we are going to be following orders for now. And we're going to be using these power fruits here to go ahead and restore our walking stamina. Because if you run out of stamina on the map here, you actually go into like kind of a camping state where you have to recover your energy. So we want to avoid that as much as possible, and we're going to be getting a better item in a couple chapters, which basically full heals our stamina whenever we want. Kind of a consumable item. And one little fun thing is that all of the enemy names are randomly generated, except for the key characters in the story. So we're fighting off against Norris here, and every now and then you can see some things that are like, okay, that might be like a Final Fantasy reference, or that might be a reference to this thing. So I kind of like to point those out, like whenever I see those. So we're through that battle easily enough. So what I want to be keeping an eye on here is the health of my Berserker in the front row and my Griffin in the back row, because they're the ones who are going to be taking the most damage in this next fight. So I'm going to quick check that right now. I am going to be healing my Griffin for safety here, because the next enemy has 3 attacks and they usually do about 20 damage each. So I want to make sure that they live through this battle. Almost there.
You can do it, Esmeralda.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, run, Esmeralda, run. Jeez, why do the rebels gotta be rebelling? Okay. Yep. So about 20 damage each, and he's guarding right now, so he's being quite a jerk right now. Because what we really want to do is we want to focus down the leader, because for these like kind of final encounters for each mission, usually when you take out the leader, the rest of the units kind of go down with them. So that's really why you gotta like prioritize them as the leader. And I am in a tricky spot because I have both my Berserker and my Griffin are at low health. We do have an Altar of Resurrection to go ahead and bring a character back to life, so I'm going to go ahead and heal the Berserker, because we really need to prioritize our damage on the Beast Tamer boss here. So unfortunately our Griffin might go down, but we'll have to resurrect them. Come on. And he's down. Alright. hard boss number 1 is down. And good old Meowgnus, he's going to taking some mercy on them. He's just capturing them as opposed to just outright killing them. We get some nice fireworks here. So now we get another nice cutscene with our best friend Raid here. Yeah, funny story just from seeing the chat. So I got this game. I never owned this game on the N64 until very recently. So I actually ended up having to rent it from like Blockbuster for about a month straight. That was the only way I could actually beat it.
I remember those days.
Yeah. I think it was like my mom or something. She like returned it because we held it as long as we could. She returned it, walked into the store, and was like, "Oh hey, we just this just got returned. Can I rent it again?" It was just like so supportive. Good gamer parents. And we're getting punched by Raid here, so things are not going well. And all of a sudden...
Oh, that hair.
So, the Beast Tamer person that was about to be executed actually gets saved by some certain knights who, thanks to some generous donations, we're actually going to be fighting in the last mission of the game. So these are the Zenobian Knights. And the one fun thing is that if you don't recruit any of them, and you kind of have, like, you're on track for the bad ending, you actually automatically have to fight all of them in this kind of bonus mission after the final boss.
Yeah, something tells me in the speedrun you're not too concerned with your chaos frame, so we're bad ending bound.
Yep, exactly. Unfortunately, like, I would love to figure out, like, a good way to get, like, a good percent ending, but it's just, the chaos frame is just this invisible stat in the background that, like, you can't really check on during the game. It's really finicky, like, it's based on, like, the alignments of all your characters and who captures what, cities. And what their alignment is, and compared to the alignment of the city, and how you're fighting your enemies, and what their alignment is. So there's just so many different factors, and it's just like you can't even see what the effects of what you do until after the run and the final result screen at the end of the game. So it's just a lot easier just to, okay, we're gonna be bad. Which, I mean, it's great for how, like, in-depth this game is and, like, all the different things you can learn from it. I know that I spent a lot of time making sure my chaos frame was up and all my alignments were in the right way. But for speedrun purposes, it's just not as feasible. So it's definitely one of those games where it's like, okay, the speedrun's fun and everything, but a casual playthrough is definitely one of the more fun ways to enjoy this game. Oh, and yes, and Coyote pointing out correctly that my main file is named Ramza, just because I'm a nerd and I like Final Fantasy Tactics.
I'm shocked.
So we've just been called before the general again, and he is promoting us to a captain, and we're getting sent on some real missions now. So we got some real responsibility. So we are going to be moving on there. And here's where we meet Leia, who's another unique character that we end up getting here. Unfortunately, we just don't really have room in the speedrun to really use her. And Dio is just kind of mouthing off there. Hugo's already just tired of all this stuff. Oh, and here is where we name our army. So if I could... I believe I saw what the what got donated for.
Yeah, we upped it at one